Okay, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is my channel, Novel Serendipity. So this is going to be a really short and sweet wrap up because I only read 4 books in September, so yeah, shame on me and my family and my cow if I had one. This was also the month for Emojiathon, and since I only read 4 books, I tried to fit those 4 books into as many categories as physically possible, and I got 1 bingo out of the card, so I guess it's not horrible, but it's not like great either, so whoops. So the first book that I read was actually Vinyl by Sophia Elaine Hansen, and I loved this book. It was Jay's pick for the Emojiathon. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was so unique and well written. It was a lot different from anything I've ever read ever. And the premise is basically there's like this dystopian world that they're living in, and the government puts singers into like implants into your ears. And so every time you have like a thought or you do an action that kind of goes against like the government or the structure of the way they think you're supposed to live, you get blasted with this song. And so Ronya is part of a family where her mom stepped out of line at some point in her life and now gets blasted with this music all the time. And so she is also in turn looked down on. There is obviously a revolution against the government. I mean, didn't you see that one coming? So she is kidnapped and her singer is very violently like taken out, and she is pretty much like tortured by this revolution. I actually really liked the characters besides Ronya, which is really like rare. I'm not usually a big supporting character fan because I feel like a lot of supporting characters aren't very well developed, and I feel like these supporting characters are very well developed and they bring a lot more to the story than just the main plot. And so if you are a music lover or really like dystopian series, I would definitely give this a look. I have never heard of this book or this author before, so thank you, Jay, for like making us all read this. I will be continuing on with this series at some point. I did buy it on my Kindle. I really did adore this series, and that's why I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I don't really have anything negative to say about it than the fact that I really want and need the romance within the book to develop and move a little bit faster because I'm getting impatient. So Vinyl fit into the emojis of read Vinyl. Okay, I read it. That was done. It also fit into a diverse book. There is a lesbian relationship in it. They love each other and they're in a relationship, and that's pretty diverse. I also really appreciate that relationship, so I'm glad it was there. And then I'm also fitting this into a social justice topic because this book dealt with human rights and what humans are and aren't allowed to do, and basically they're not even allowed to feel, which I think in and of itself is a human right. There's also like this corporate thing going on, so I think corporate social responsibility is a big social justice topic. Basically, this book is a whole social justice topic wrapped up in a big old book. Those are the 3 emojis I picked to fit into this book, and if you read it, I'm pretty sure you probably agreed with all of them, especially the grapes, because how can reading Vinyl not fit into reading Vinyl? So yeah. Book 1. So books 2 and 3 go together, and I'm not going to say much about it just because I will be having a non-spoiler book review posted, but I read the first 2 installments of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I gave both of these books 5 out of 5 stars because apparently I'm throwing around stars like it's nobody's business for my September reads, and I don't feel guilty about it. I like them and no one can harass me into changing my ratings, okay? There has been a lot of star negativity in the bookish community lately, and people are being they're being talked down to if they give a lot of 4 or 5 stars, but like if you like the book, what am I supposed to do? Give it a 3-star read, even though I think it's a 5-star read just because I think some of you won't like it? I'm not gonna do that. I'm standing my ground. So yeah, I give both of these 5 out of 5 stars. I love this. I won't be having a book review up of this one, but I will be having a book review up of this one. So stay tuned for my non-spoiler book review of Throne of Glass. I'm just gonna say that I loved it, so that's all you need to know now. And if you want to know more, you can hop on over to my review and call it a day. So thanks. So these are pretty similar in like what emojis would and wouldn't fit in. So I'm just gonna go like this and tell you which emojis I picked. So first, I am fitting this in with the emoji for books I said I would read but never did. This has been on my TBR since it like came out. So the fact that I finally read it is great. I'm also going to be picking one of my oldest 5 books on my TBR list on Goodreads and trying to read one every month. They might not be on my initial TBR, but I do want to get to some of those older books that are on my TBR that I just haven't gotten around to. So this is the first one for the first month I decided to do it, and yeah, so I fit into that emoji pretty well. I'm also giving this the emoji for a predicted 5-star read because though I did see a lot of people either like it or hate it, when I read the back of the book, I realized I think this is going to be one of those books that I think I will absolutely adore, and I did. This might not be like a 5-star predicted read for everyone, but I knew it was probably a 5-star predicted read for me. So I fitted into that emoji because I'll do what I want. And I've also been seeing this everywhere, so I also put the emoji for a book that I've been seeing everywhere. I just realized I had lipstick all over my teeth, and yeah, I'm a hot mess. And I'm not refilming any of this, so... So my last book for the Emojiathon and September was Snow Lane by Josephine Angelini. I had a lot to say about this book. I actually started annotating this at the beginning, and by page 10 I was so immersed into the book and the story that totally went down the drain. So oops. But this is a middle grade book that I wouldn't recommend all middle graders reading if they're not like emotionally sound. It has some trigger warnings for abuse and neglect. I mean, they're not like so far out there that it needs like a rated R rating or anything, but it's there. I feel like a lot of younger people reading this book might not actually pick up on all of it, but it's definitely there. In reading it as an adult, it may have hit me a little harder than I think it might younger kids, but I still wouldn't have just any middle schooler reading this book. So I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars for like that reason alone, just because the genre that it's kind of put into, or the age group that it's put into, I don't know if I agree with it or not. But yeah, besides that, it was a really good book. It dealt with a lot of hard topics with some humor of the main character Annie, because she's dealing with a lot in her life as like, I think she's 10, a 10-year-old, but she still has like just a really good sense of humor, and I really appreciated that. But I'm going to be having a book review up of this book also, so I don't want to say too much besides it might catch you off guard. There is also a lot to pick apart of this book. If you're a psych major or like anything psychological, I would definitely pick this up because you'd have like a heyday with this. But I did think it was very beautifully written. It was an easy read in how it was written, but not necessarily the contents of the book, like I was saying. So there is a lot of controversial reviews on this book out there, but I am not going to put down a book or an author for throwing in some of her real life into a book. So I respect that she could do that. I wouldn't be able to do it. And so that's all I want to say for now. Yes, here it is. I had quite a few emojis that fit into this book, so let me tell you what they were. It fit for the emoji for favorite author because Josephine Angelini is my favorite author. I know 2 people that just read my favorite book and didn't like it, but I'm not gonna let that get me down because we can't all like the same books. So, but she is the author of Trial by Fire, which I get cannot be a book for everyone, but I still recommend it to everyone. So you guys can hate me for having me waste your time on a book you won't like, or you'll end up loving me and you might love the book too. So all I got to say. I also read it in less than 24 hours, so I fit it into the emoji for the clock, which is read a book in less than 24 hours. Also, my favorite color is blue and like all blues, and this has a bunch of blues on it, so a book with a cover with my favorite color, and here it is. I'm also fitting in the freebie square tile of the book stack because it could honestly have gone with any 4 of these books that I read, so I'm just sticking it in. And this also I am fitting in, which could also have been any of the books I read, but a book that takes place someplace other than where I live. This book takes place in Massachusetts, so it fits in with a different place for me, I suppose. Yeah, I got one bingo. I have been going through a lot of life changes. Last night I just finished up my last night at my old job, and today I start my first day at my new job, so my anxiety and just stress level has been sky high, so I haven't been reading a whole lot. My mind has been elsewhere, and I apologize, but I hope to get back into the swing of things this month. I guess we'll see how we go. I have a big book list, as always, but I'm also working like 9, 10, 11 days in a row. 9 for sure. I don't know if I'm working more yet. My new schedule isn't out that far. So I'm working a lot of days in a row, and I'm going to be really stressed out because I'm learning how to do new things, and I have to be the new person again, and I hate being the new person. I never know how I can act or if I can be myself and stuff like that, so like that makes me anxious. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But this is my September wrap up. If you read any of these books, let me know down below what you thought about any of them, or if you want to read any of them, and like, subscribe, and comment as usual. All the love. Bye.